Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us here today. We're really excited about what's before us. My name is Marta Cardenas Singh, and I'm the mayor for the city of El Centro. Really wanting to take the opportunity to thank you as we take a look at areas in our city in which we can improve on, receive feedback and recommendations. We always look forward to those partnerships and to hearing from our residents and the services that we provide. I will share with you that this discussion has been taking place for the past 4 to 5 months, and we wanted to make sure that we offered this opportunity as a platform, a conversation, a discussion, and a partnership to talk about transportation in the city of El Centro. And today we chose to have it here in the community center as an opportunity to have a discussion. This is an opportunity for us to learn, one, about the transportation services, two, the transportation programs that are offered to specific categories, for example, for senior citizens, for veterans, and for transportation for medical services. So we wanted to make sure that citizens were aware of those types of services. And thirdly, we also wanted to take a look at the delivery of how transportation is delivered in our city, areas in regards to how to navigate transportation, what the routes look like, and therefore this is a great opportunity to have those discussions. So I wanted to thank you for being here with us this evening. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and recognize several individuals in the room. And with that, that's Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Sylvia Marroquin. Thank you. Council Member Sonia Carter. And the captain of our ship, Mr. Cedric Sesena, City Manager. The Mayor of Calexico, Mr. Raul Ureña. And thank you to all of our community partners. With that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Council Member Sonia Carter, who will walk us through the agenda for today.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you to everybody who came out. We appreciate you coming out and giving your support, and we're going to appreciate your feedback when we get to that part. We want to start with a raffle today. We actually want to thank you for coming out. So we will have raffles throughout the time of our time together today. So we are going to start with a raffle. Who's going to pick? Me. Okay, and let me tell you what you're going to win. Let me tell you what you're going to win. Let me go in here. Oh, we don't know. You'll have to share it with us because it's taped up. So the number is 495-2389. Yay! Okay, then you get to share with us what gift cards you have. Oh, sorry. Thank you. We want to express that it was a team that put this together, and I want to say thank you to everybody, the city of El Centro, to the whole team that worked throughout the months to get this together. It's an event that we do for the community, and we're glad that you come out to be a part of it. So I'm going to turn it over to David, who is in charge of the transportation, and he's going to guide you through a PowerPoint presentation.
Alrighty. I think we're good to go. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is David Aguirre. I'm the Executive Director of the Imperial County Transportation Commission. So the Imperial County Transportation Commission is a public agency, and we do a variety of different things. I will make it quick in terms of the other more complicated aspects of the agency. So one of those aspects is we are the Regional Transportation Planning Agency for the Imperial County, and we're also the County Transportation Commission. So for the most part, every county throughout the state has a transportation commission, and they have a regional transportation planning agency. We're also, and this is what we're here to discuss today, we're also the administrator for the public transit system in the Imperial County. Just so that you know of how ICTC is actually built, ICTC's board is comprised of an elected official of each of the cities in the Imperial County, one elected official from the Imperial Irrigation District, and 2 members of the County of Imperial. Within that, we also have several subcommittees that help guide us in terms of what we aim to do for the agency and what we aim to deliver for the public. Some of those committees are the Management Committee, which is comprised of city managers for each of the cities, CEO for the county, and a member of the IID. The Technical Advisory Committee, which is a group comprised of public works staff and planning staff for each of the cities and the county and the IID. Social Service Transportation Advisory Council, I know that's a mouthful, but that group is comprised of a variety of social service agencies throughout the county that get together and discuss what their needs are for their clients, and then they essentially relay that information over to us so that we can look at opportunities to integrate it within what we do as a transportation commission. And our last and newest advisory committee is our Imperial Valley Resource Management Agency Technical Advisory Committee. So the Imperial Valley Resource Management Agency is an agency that helps all of our local agencies deal with new recycling mandates on behalf of the state of California. So there's a lot of different things that we do under ICTC. There's a lot of groups and committees that help guide us to where we need to be in terms of delivering different types of projects and services to the residents of the Imperial County. So again, touching on some of the programs, we do short, mid-term, and long-range transportation planning, and that is comprised of transportation planning for roadway infrastructure, bridges, overpasses, things like that. Programming for state and federal dollars that come into the Imperial County. So every dollar that actually comes into the Imperial County for transportation infrastructure has to be programmed with the state so that we let them know what we're actually trying to do with those monies that we receive from the federal government or the state. We also administer the Local Transportation Authority, which is a Measure D fund. That is a half-cent sales tax that is charged to the residents of the Imperial County, and what that does is that goes towards infrastructure improvements throughout the county. So a lot of the roadway infrastructure that you see usually has LTA as part of it to essentially create the development of it. Some of those projects have federal dollars tied to it. LTA is usually used as a matching component to bring those projects to fruition. On the transit side of things, we have 5 core services. One of them being, and probably perhaps the biggest service, is the IVT, which is Imperial Valley Transit. That is the fixed route bus system. So that is the system you see that utilizes the bus stops, the shelters, the transit centers. We have IVT MedTrans, which is a non-emergency transportation service to San Diego for medical facilities. So essentially what we do is if you're looking to receive medical treatment in the Imperial County, and let's say it's a specialty that's not offered here, we provide transportation to take you to San Diego to receive that treatment. It is within the I-8 corridor, so it is somewhat limited, but it does operate in that capacity. We have IVT Access, which is our ADA paratransit service. That service is meant to complement the fixed route service throughout the county. So it operates within the same areas of the fixed route service throughout the county within a 3/4 of a mile corridor. And then we have IVT Ride. IVT Ride is our senior dial-a-ride service. That's meant for seniors 55 years and older or persons with disabilities. And those services are located within specific communities in the Imperial County. So those communities are Calexico, Brawley, El Centro, Imperial, Heber, and the West Shores area. And our newest service that we just implemented here in the Imperial County is the Calexico On-Demand service, and that's the micro-transit system within the city of Calexico. That service is unique to anything we've ever offered before. It operates similar to an Uber-like system, and it is very popular in the city of Calexico, so I think it in terms of a pilot and possibly implementing in another location, it's something that we're definitely exploring. Non-transportation programs. We do administer the Imperial County Service Authority for freeway emergencies. So what that is essentially the call box systems that you'll see throughout the county on the highway system. And one of our newest additions to our non-transportation program is the Imperial Valley Resource Management Agency. And again, that agency helps each of the cities in the county deal with recycling efforts, state mandates throughout the county that help us achieve recycling goals set forth by the state. So transit services, that's essentially why we're here, right? We want to talk about the transit opportunities that exist within the Imperial County. So again, our core services, Imperial Valley Transit, fixed route service, it's regional and local. So what that means, regional means you can get from Calexico to El Centro, from El Centro to Hopeville, from El Centro to Nyland. Local means it's essentially within a localized area. So you can get from one area of Calexico to another area of Calexico. The circulator lines, these are supplements to our regional fixed route system. The circulator lines operate, we have two in the city of El Centro, the blue and the green line. The blue essentially operates on the south end of the city of El Centro, and the green operates predominantly on the north side of El Centro. And then we have the gold line. The gold line operates in the city of Brawley. We have IVT Access, again, that is the paratransit service that's available for folks with disabilities that can't use the regular fixed route service because of their disability. We have the dial-a-ride system. Again, that's meant for seniors and persons with disabilities. I'll touch base a little bit more on the service and how to utilize it a little bit later, but just rest assured that it is a service that's available in multiple communities within the Imperial County. The MedTrans service, again, providing transportation to medical facilities in San Diego. Calexico On Demand, our newest service. And then we also have a partnership between us, the Kachan tribe, and the Yuma transit system that provides transportation to folks in the Winter Haven area that allows them to navigate to Yuma and the Winter Haven area and the Kachan tribe, but they also have a service that operates from Yuma, the Kachan tribe, Winter Haven, and then comes to El Centro. So that is a partnership that we've had for, I want to say 9 years now, which allows folks in the eastern side of the Imperial County to receive service. So Imperial Valley Transit. So in the slide, you'll see a picture of our newest rider's guide. This is just a revamp of our rider's guide. The prior version was a black and white version. We've had it for years, so we actually wanted to make a more colorful version to help show people that, you know, our system is growing. We're looking at newer opportunities. Hopefully it provides more information to the public, so they're a lot bigger. The maps are a lot bigger, and the information that we're providing is more than we previously provided. The service itself operates Monday through Sunday. The routes and the days of operation vary per route, so not all of the services operate Monday through Sunday. I guess the ranges of the services that we offer are from 5:45 to 11:20 p.m. Again, the routes vary based on the different type of route and the trips and the days of the week. The service itself as a whole services the communities of El Centro, Calexico, Imperial, Sealy, Hopeville, Ocotillo, Brawley, Westmoreland, Calipatria, Nyland, Bombay Beach area, and the Imperial Valley College. All fixed route services, or all fixed route vehicles, have public Wi-Fi, so that's available to anyone that uses the services. You can log in and utilize the Wi-Fi, and all of the vehicles are wheelchair accessible, so they're all ADA accessible to help folks with disabilities to be able to utilize the services. So these are the services that are specifically tied to the city of El Centro. We have our routes 1N and 1S, which touch on El Centro, Heber, and Calexico. Our routes 2N and 2S, which touch on El Centro, Imperial, IVC, Brawley, Westmoreland, Calipatria, and Nyland. We have routes 3W and 3E, which touch El Centro, IVC, and Hopeville. Routes 4W, 4E touch El Centro and Sealy, and it goes to Ocotillo upon request and on Tuesdays only. We have Route 41S, which is a more streamlined route that exists between El Centro, Imperial, and Brawley. And then 45W, that's a more streamlined route that exists between El Centro and Hopeville. Again, we do have the blue and green circulator lines, and then the bottom of the image, you'll see one of the buses, and you'll see some of the images of our transit vouchers that we use for our system. Fare structure. So our fare structure has remained the same for as long as I can remember. I don't think it's ever really been changed. It is rather affordable. Our local zone fares and circulator fares are $1. And of course, everything is half price for folks with disabilities and seniors. So that becomes 50 cents. Now, when you're traveling on a regional basis, that means if you're traveling from Calexico to El Centro, as an example, you will pay $1.25, and then of course the senior population pays half, so they pay 60 cents. We, as I previously noted, we have direct routes, we have fast trips that exist between various communities. Those are a little more expensive because they're more streamlined. And then of course we have IVC Express routes that exist between the north end and IVC and the south end and IVC. And again, those are more streamlined routes that go from one community or two to IVC. We do sell ticket booklets for our services. We are looking at implementing some sort of application to allow digital currency as well. One of the things that we're definitely focused on and that we're going to, that will remain consistent in terms of all of our services is cash payment. There's a lot of transit agencies that are trying to get rid of cash payments as a means of utilizing the service. For us, it's an important piece of who we are. So cash payment for us is always going to exist. We're always going to take cash payment. But again, we are looking at trying to update our services and look to possibly integrate electronic payments as well, electronic tickets as well. At the moment, we do sell tickets at various city halls, an example being El Centro City Hall and IVC. Intercity circulators. I previously noted our circulators that we have in the city of El Centro, the green and blue line, and then of course the circulator that we have in the city of Brawley, which is the gold line. Just to give you an example of some of the stops that the blue line actually touches, it has about 20 stops. It stops at Imperial County Social Services, AAA, Intercare, which is just near the mall, County Social Services, Work Training Center, and ECRMC, just as an example of the stops it actually services. The Green Line has a little bit more stops, has about 25 stops, which include the Social Security Administration, ECRMC, the new El Centro Library, Food for Less, Costco, and then it does touch on the southern portion of Imperial, like the movies, as an example. Gold Line, I won't get into many specifics in terms of the Gold Line, but it touches similar areas, Intercare, Senior Center, Cattle Call Park, and things like that. So that's primarily the fixed route service. The fixed route service is the service that utilizes smaller shuttles, but it also uses the larger buses, and that's the service that primarily uses all of the bus stops throughout the city and the shelters. So the shelters are also part of our program, right? So we're always looking at opportunities to improve shelters, looking at opportunities to possibly install shelters where some don't exist. So one of our projects that we're actually working on now is a project that will install bus shelters at locations that actually don't have them now. Locations are to be determined, but we're actually working on that. IVT Access ADA paratransit service. So it does travel within wherever the fixed route service travels within a 3/4 of a mile corridor. And the way that service works is it'll pick you up at your home. If you live within that corridor, drop you off somewhere within that corridor. It is reservation based, so you do have to call our dispatch center to make your reservation. If you have a personal care attendant, you can bring that person with you for free. It is $2.50 for regional trips. Again, regional trips are if you're traveling from Brawley to El Centro, as an example. and then it's $2 for local trips. There is a certification process that needs to take place for this service. That's a federally mandated process that we have to abide by. And that is meant to determine if the individual that is applying for the service is tempted to utilize the service, can or actually needs to utilize the service versus the regular fixed route. So the goal is to encourage people to potentially use the regular fixed route if they can. If they can't, this service is available to help them get to wherever they need to be. Again, all of our vehicles are wheelchair accessible, so they're readily available to assist passengers that need that assistance. Eligibility and certification process. Our process is not overly complicated. There is an application that needs to be completed. There is typically a self-assessment form that we provide. So we give you some information about the service. You take a look at it. You determine if you think the service is right for you, or maybe there's another service that we provide that is better suited. You will complete the application. You will have to complete a medical verification form we'll provide you with the form. You will provide that form to your physician. They'll fill it out and essentially state why they think that you would be a good fit to utilize the service. In some cases, it may or may not work, but for the most part, most of the physicians are able to do that. Our team as well are well versed in the service itself and how to operate the application process. So if you ever have any questions or concerns about it, or if you need us to potentially speak to your physician, we can always do that as well. The application process itself is rather short. We're allowed 21 days to complete the application process. I can tell you, I don't think it's ever taken 21 days. I would say it probably never takes longer than a week. For the most part, it's rather quick. As soon as you're approved, you can start utilizing the service. So how to ride? It's pretty simple. Just make a phone call to our reservations department or our dispatch department. The number is provided there, 760-482-2908. You can make your reservations up to 14 days in advance, but you can also set up reoccurring reservations. So as an example, if you're going to the doctor on a regular basis, you know when your appointments are, you can set that up with the dispatching team. You'll have a reoccurring appointment. You don't have to call all the time and set up those appointments. The one thing we do ask when you do set up your appointments is to try to schedule your trip plus your return trip, so that way if there's any issues with demand or anything like that, your trip is already scheduled for you to get back home if that's where you're going. The image of the vehicle, that's actually the vehicle that would be utilized to actually pick you up. Again, all of our chairs are wheelchair accessible. All of our vehicles are wheelchair accessible. So IVT Ride, that is our senior dial-a-ride service. The service is available to seniors 55 years of age or older, or persons certified as eligible to use Access. The service is very similar to how Access works. It has an application process, much simpler. There is no medical verification form required. Essentially, you just complete the application, certify that you're 55 years or older, and then we sign you up for the service. Both Access and Ride are curb to curb. In El Centro, it's a little unique versus the other communities. El Centro has the ability to travel from El Centro to Heber, and El Centro to Imperial, and vice versa. So it's a larger service area, if you will. Again, we do have it in various communities, but in the city of El Centro, it's a little bit different than the other communities. Again, you're welcome to bring your personal care attendant if needed. They ride for free. And the fares vary per city because it wasn't a dial-a-ride that we took over a few years ago. So when we took over the dial-a-rides, we essentially took on whatever the fares were at that point in time. We haven't changed it. So in the city of El Centro, it's actually $1.25. And if you're traveling, and that's if you're local. If you're traveling outside of the area, let's say if you're going from El Centro to Imperial, it's $1.75. Again, all vehicles are wheelchair accessible. These vehicles are actually equipped with wheelchair ramps versus lifts, but we also have vehicles with lifts in our fleet to be able to service folks that need that extra assistance. So how to ride? Yes.
You shared about having a ramp. Does the staff assist?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. The staff will assist folks if they need help using when they're boarding the vehicle, if it's a ramp vehicle. Even the lifts. We'll help the person get onto the lift. We'll have to navigate that, and then we'll essentially, when they're on the vehicle, they'll strap them in. We'll put all the seat belts on. So safety is the utmost importance for us as we travel, and we want to make sure that the folks that are utilizing the service are safe as well. So how to ride? There's a little image of the application. It's really straightforward. There's no realistic denial or anything of the actual application process. Everybody's approved, assuming you're a senior and you're 55 years or older. Again, the process to sign up for the service is fairly straightforward. Call dispatch 760-337-1760. Set up your appointment. You can again set it up for up to 14 days in advance. You can set up reoccurring trips, and they'll honor those trips, and we'll be able to pick you up on a reoccurring basis as needed. If you do just call to make a one-time trip, try to make your return trip as well, again, so that we don't run into any issues if there's a demand issue. IVT MedTrans. That service is our non-emergency medical transportation service to San Diego to visit medical facilities along the I-8 corridor. That service operates 4 days a week. We have one trip that leaves at 7 a.m. We used to have two. We're working on trying to bring the other one back. But it is reservation-based and advance payment is required. We're also looking at different avenues for payment systems to help make it easier for folks that want to use the service, just to make the service more convenient. It is $22.50 round trip if the person is heading to a medical facility, so it's rather affordable. It's $11 per, essentially heading to San Diego, and $11 heading back. And it's $45 round trip for category B. Those are folks that are not tied to medical facilities, if they're actually going somewhere else that's within the corridor. It's very rare that we actually use that. Most folks that utilize the service, and that's what it's intended for, are folks that are heading to medical facilities. That's the purpose. $10.50 for personal care attendants, and that's round trip, so it's a little over $5. Again, it does leave, our typical departure location is the Ivy Mall. We leave at 7 a.m. We probably return about, I would say we leave San Diego about 3, probably get here about 5-ish or so. We visit various medical facilities in the San Diego area, so Children's Hospital, Shiloh Eye Center, Alvarado Medical Facility. So we'll visit a lot of centers. Typically it's the same facilities that we visit, but folks are accustomed to that. They utilize the service to get to wherever they're trying to go.
The VA center?
Yes, we go to the VA center as well.
So David, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So that $45 category B,
Mhm.
Those are for non-medical stops?
Yes, we don't really promote it because it's meant to take people to medical facilities because they can't get the treatment here. But that's what it is essentially. Yes.
Let's say, for example, if somebody were going to like the main campus at San Diego State, would this transit system accommodate?
Yes. Well, yes. So we've had preliminary conversations with SDSU about trying to potentially integrate that into our system. There's still a lot of work to take place to be able to do that, but we've had conversations about potentially using the service to take students to the campus and then bringing them back. So we have explored that option. Yeah. All of these vehicles that head to San Diego are equipped with public Wi-Fi. So folks that we understand it's a long trip. You can use the Wi-Fi. You can stream, watch videos, whatever you want to do is on your trip to San Diego. We do have we stop at the rest stop. I think it's Buckman Springs, right before the checkpoint to allow folks to use the restroom on the way, just to further the trip along. But we also offer a sweeper bus for this service. So the sweeper bus will pick up folks in various communities if they can't make it to the mall. So an example being, if you live in Brawley, we will go to Brawley, pick you up, bring you to El Centro so that you can take the service to San Diego. And that sweeper bus operates before the vehicle actually departs. So let's say 6 a.m.-ish, it'll drive around. If the person requests it, it'll drive around, pick them up, bring them to the mall, then head on the normal departure.
And it will also return them at 5,
Yep.
5-ish?
Yep. So how to ride, pretty straightforward. If you call dispatch, tell them where you're trying to go. You make your payment. You let them know if you're going to need the sweeper bus to pick you up. If not, they'll just meet you at the mall. And then you're essentially on your way. The bus is wheelchair accessible, so it has the necessary equipment to take passengers that are wheelchair bound to San Diego as well. And again, it has free Wi-Fi, so you're welcome to use the Wi-Fi. Yes? There is. I believe it is about 16 passengers. Yeah, and I could honestly say I don't think we've ever hit capacity. Yeah. So the schedule, it does operate 4 days a week, and the Monday and Friday tend to, we'll rotate them essentially. So you can see the schedule up there. You'll see that on August 4th, there's no service, and then there's no service on Monday, but then there'll be, from the 8th to the 17th, there'll be basically 8 days of service straight. And that's essentially how it kind of rotates. One of the days of the week, it does go to South Bay and La Jolla to take folks to medical facilities in that area. And it does operate, again, 4 days a week, the one trip per day. And we're looking at possibly trying to bring back our second trip, which used to be at around 10 a.m. So there used to be one at 7 and one at 10. One would come back around 5, the other one would come back around 8-ish. Calexico On Demand. So I know this is not in the city of El Centro, but I wanted to make sure I noted all noted all of our services. Calexico On Demand is a curb-to-curb transportation service. This one is unique because you can book trips using a mobile application, but you can also call dispatch to do so. It is $2, and then folks that are seniors or persons with disabilities pay half again, so they pay $1. In addition to that, if you're riding using the service, or let's say I am, and I bring Sylvia with me, I pay $2 and Sylvia pays $1. And so it's a little bit cheaper for every passenger you bring on, limit to the $1. Service is available Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That service, in addition to electronic payments, also has fare boxes in the vehicle, so we take cash as well. And again, that is a staple between all of our services. We want to make sure that we continue to offer the ability to pay cash. And then the dispatch number is 760-337-1760. That dispatch number is for IVT rides. So if for some reason someone is looking to use this service and they need wheelchair assistance, they would call our ride service. Our ride service complements that and would be able to pick them up in the city of Calexico.
So David, this
Mhm.
service will pick you up, like, for example, at your home, and then take you to, or
In Calexico.
in Calexico only?
Yes,
Yeah.
in Calexico only. So it stays within the boundaries of Calexico. But we are looking at different opportunities to try to create these types of services in various communities like El Centro, Brawley, and other locations. I knew this one would be popular. So just to touch base a little bit on the Ycat Kachan Tribe ICTC partnership, the routes are the Blue Route 5 and the Turquoise Route 10. Ycat operates that. Ycat is Yuma's transportation system. We have a partnership agreement between all of us that essentially where we co-fund the service, and it's meant to be able to provide transportation services to folks that live in the Winter Haven area. But it also touches the Kachan Tribe area and the Yuma location. So There's 2 routes primarily, like I said, one that operates within that little area, and there's one route that operates from that area to El Centro and back. And from time to time, if you pass by the El Centro terminal on 7th and State, you'll see one of Yuma's buses at the location, because that's where they actually drop off passengers. So the reason behind that is if someone comes from the Yuma or Winter Haven area, they come into the transfer terminal, they can link up with one of our other services and they can head wherever else they're going. So if they're going to Calexico, Brawley, wherever it might be, they can make the rest of their trip and then essentially come back and take that service back. Reservations. So all of our services have dispatch centers. They're all manned, or I guess operated locally. There's people that live in the Imperial Valley and operate them here in the Imperial Valley. We have a dispatch center, and those dispatch hours are available at differing times based on the service itself, but they're available to the public to call if they have any issues. If they're running into any issues, let's say on the fixed route, or they've seen something, we ask you to please call. And of course, for the access, ride, and MedTrans service, if you need to make a reservation, you call that same number and they'll take care of you there. The various numbers are presented there. They're also in our pamphlets, in our rider's guides. All of our information is located there. And the fail-safe is if for some reason you can't get a hold of dispatch or something like that, you can always call my office, and I have a little backdoor channel to get to dispatch a lot faster. Transit centers. So in addition to all of the bus stop infrastructure, we have a lot of different bus stops throughout the county. We're always looking at ways to update the bus stops, provide more information at bus stops. We just implemented, it's a minor project, but we just implemented QR codes that we have at all of our shelters. So folks that are waiting for buses, they can actually scan the QR code and they'll see the routes that are available and when the bus is going to come. So we have that at all of our locations. In terms of the facilities, the larger facilities, we have a number of facilities that we built over the years. We have the one in El Centro, 7th and State. We have the City of Imperials, which is on Barione and M Street near the IID headquarters. We have the City of Brawley's facility, which is located near City Hall. And then we have the facility that we built at Imperial Valley College. And our newest and coming soon facility, hopefully, keep my fingers crossed that we can hopefully start construction by the end of this year, is the facility that's proposed to go into the downtown area in the city of Calexico. All of these facilities have been done over the years. We take great pride in these facilities. The cities that they're located in help us maintain those facilities, and they do a fantastic job of doing so. But they all provide opportunities for folks to be able to link with other transit services and be able to utilize and be able to get to different locations throughout the county. Here are all of our websites. Each one of our services has its own website. We also have a Facebook, we have a Twitter. All of them are a little bit unique, but they all have our information available. So they have information about how to ride. They have our pamphlets. We have rider's guides. They have the fixed route service has a Google Earth map system that you can actually see the routes and the times. So there's a lot of different, information available pertaining to each of the services. Of course, there's the dispatch numbers, and then of course there's the numbers to ICTC as a fail-safe if for some reason, again, the dispatch doesn't work out. You're always welcome to give us a call, and we're happy to help with any way possible. And that is the conclusion of my presentation. So again, my name is David Aguirre. I'm the Executive Director at the Imperial County Transportation Commission. My number is there. You're welcome to give myself or my team a call anytime if you have any issues pertaining to any of our services, or if you have any questions. We're always available to help. We have the ability to reach out to our operations team as quickly as possible if there's any issues that you're encountering basically immediately, and we'll get on it as quickly as possible to try to resolve the issue. There's a lot of times where, let's say a passenger sees something, they reach out to us and they say, hey, I just saw this 5 minutes ago, we'll get on it basically immediately. So everything kind of works, hopefully the way it's supposed to work. We address issues as quickly as possible on all of our systems. And that's all I have. Yes, sir?
Two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
You talked about ticket sales locations.
Yes.
You said City Hall, IBC.
Yes.
Is that only?
No, so we have multiple city halls that offer it. Brawley does, Calipatria does, El Centro does, IBC does. We're also looking at other locations to possibly sell tickets as well, in addition to digital formats. And one of the concepts that we're exploring is possibly having another offsite location within the city to sell tickets as well and dispatch.
I asked that mainly because some
Mhm.
people, it looks like most people would have to catch a bus to get to ticket sale place.
If you want to use ticket sales, yes, but otherwise cash is always available.
Also, the second question is, do you have a projected rollout for maybe additional shelters with these, at least starting?
Yeah, so the project that we're working on now, we are working on the procurement process for the design, which is a minor portion of it. So if we get that done in, let's say by the end of this year, I think construction can start possibly, let's say, spring of next year. Yeah, everything is, so a lot of the funding funded, federal funds have processes that you have to abide by in order to use their money. But for us, it's important that we continue to pursue these dollars to be able to continue to upgrade our infrastructure throughout the county. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You have ticket sales that's not really accessible to people. You want people to see all of them. Another place, what was the other place you said?
IBC. City halls and IBCs.
Yeah, City Hall and
Yep.
IBC. I think, I'm gonna, this is as a suggestion.
Sure.
You have the community center right here. Yeah. You have the nutrition center, you have cafeteria, and places within the community that makes it accessible to people because we are very much a transportation dependent community without even knowing that we have transportation, you know? So
Correct.
I would suggest that that would be an option that you might, look into in terms of, additional sites.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And we are definitely working on looking at other locations. I think one of the more recent locations that we partnered with was AAA, so we sell tickets there. So we'll continue to explore other opportunities. Maybe, Martha, we can talk about community center.
The whole purpose of transportation is to address the needs of the transportation dependent people.
Sure.
But then we have them going, 20 miles to buy a ticket, you know, so that's all I'm saying. The other part was, we put these glasses on.
Yeah, no problem.
Even on the, I mean,
Yes.
again, we're talking about, making, reservations. And there's another place where, the city of Iowa, you have to be certified.
Mhm.
Here I go again. Again, you gotta get to where the people are, because the place, the way that you have it is not wrong. It's just that when we look at our community even as a whole, still, I'm talking about still, accessing, you know, the social media and calling and all those things. And, you know, maybe 15, 20 years from now, that'll be a snap for everybody. But right now, it's still a concern and a problem, and that population may not even access.
Okay.
The other, it's not even a question. Can you take me through East State Street and get me to Social Security? I don't know how I can get you, but I'm here on the east side.
Yes.
And get to Social Security.
Yeah, and I think the maybe I think the following exercise is going to be us potentially going through the guide and helping you navigate to, let's say, somewhere you're trying to get to from point A to point B.
Yeah, but can you run it through to me right now, because I don't see it happening.
Sure.
Because the services are not really connect in timely manners and get you to the places. I'm talking about you call it the circular.
Yes, the circulators.
Yeah, that has a lot of gaps in it. And I just wanted to know how I can get to Social Security right now. If I was to go get your bus tomorrow, how can I get over to Social Security?
Yeah, it varies based on where you are, right? What location are you starting?
I'm here at the community center, right across the street, and I want to get to Social Security.
Okay. Yeah, so my recommendation at that point would be to utilize the blue line, which will likely pick you up here. You'll get back to 7th and State, and then you would take the green line to get to Social Security.
And that's where I see that's something that we need to look into and address.
Sure. Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm leapfrogging people. I'm sorry.
I just got a question, a short one. When you talk about getting a ticket,
Uh-huh.
is that getting a pass or a ticket? Because why would you get a ticket if you pay cash?
Yeah, it's the tickets are essentially like if you want to pay in advance. I mean, if you want to buy the tickets, there's a there's a small discount if you buy bulk tickets, and then there's agencies at times that buy tickets for their clients. So you can use tickets to ride, and they don't essentially have to pay cash, but you can pay cash for all of our services. Mhm.
We got to do that other question. How do you connect, again, I'm here.
Sure.
I want to go to IBC.
Okay.
So how do you do that? And is it a timely way to do that?
Yeah. So again, blue line, and then you would head to 7th and State. You would pick up one of the services. It could be the route to Hopeville, or you can take the 2 route that heads to the north end to get to IVC. There.
So you would have to go from El Centro to Mobile and then back to IBC?
No, you would head from El Centro to 7th and State in El Centro, and then that would connect to something else. Yeah.
So IBC is one of the stops that will.
Yes. Yeah, it's in between. It starts in El Centro, goes to has many stops in between, but goes to IVC and then heads to Holville, and then Holville, IVC, El Centro.
And this will be the last thing. There are a couple of people, you know, able to make it live.
Mm-hmm.
Even the night school.
Okay.
You're on the side. And when they get dropped off, at 7th and State at 10:30 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And they have to walk. Something needs to be done about that. You know, and that's, to me, that's even a safety issue as opposed to even transportation. But that's something that you don't have a connection there to even get people back.
You know what, I guess on that end, if you can give me the information for the school, I can certainly reach out to them and see what time their hours are, and see if there's a possibility to make a connection there. I don't know what time they end or start. That way, I can't really gauge, how we can serve.
I can check it out, but it's.
Yes, please.
But are you saying that there's a way, once the bus gets to the hub, to get to the hub, there's a connection, back or you're on the east side?
I don't know that, it depends on the time, yeah.
That's what I'm saying about.
Yeah.
A lot of gaps in the system. I mean, you gave us some wonderful information.
Mhm.
that Not only me, but I'm quite sure many people here did not even know.
Sure.
So if we don't know, and we're supposed to be some of the, whatever we are, leaders and elected officials and all that, how do we expect our community to know?
Right, and exactly. So I think from our standpoint, one of the things that we try to do quite often is really try to reach out to the community. We participate in a lot of outreach events to try to promote services. We typically try to tie them to existing events. So you'll see us a lot at events that are actually taking place because we already know people are gravitating to it already. So that gives us an opportunity to talk to people when they're already there versus asking them to come to me. If they're already there, it just gives you a better chance to actually connect with them. So we do a lot of that just throughout the county. Yes, sir.
And just if I may, on the side of safety and security, right, I just want to make sure that, that kind of falls probably better off on our lap as the city. So, we'll take a look to see what,
Sure.
what our contract looks like as far as security at the hub. And then obviously, maybe there's potential for maybe some additional control in the area when it's time to move people come back home, from school. Just to make sure that they feel a little bit more comfortable.
Appreciate it. Hopefully we can change that, and I appreciate that because,
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
First and foremost, I think this is an awareness meeting, and I think this is really that we know about the ICPC and their functions. So truly, thank you to you and
Of course.
the entire commission for the work that you do. I know it's no easy task to really bridge through infrastructure all of the counties, the cities. We have a legacy of living in silos, so of course every community will. I think like what you did with the Mexico was incredibly just like innovative. It works for Mexico, we need to things that works for everyone. My question around the funding. What do you guys think of funding from? I know you mentioned federal programs, but with the current.
So the one of the primary ones is the Federal Transit Administration.
Okay, cool. And then I know you mentioned that you provide Wi-Fi on a lot of your buses.
Mhm.
What percent of your fleets are electric?
Electric buses?
Yeah.
I would say primarily none. The Calexico service has PHEV vehicles, but we are looking at the aspect of integrating zero emission technology in our vehicles.
Then I raised this because there was a lot of funding in the Department of Energy in particular,
Uh-huh.
transportation, and what's really remarkable about electric buses is that when there's a power outage, which happened a lot here,
Sure.
your electric bus could serve as basically like a battery storage and a grid that can help subsidize whatever energy is not being able to be fed by energy. And I know that they're very interested in like our community, especially with the city and valley development. And the funding isn't just for the infrastructure, like the buses themselves, but it also goes to cover the bus shelters. And from Boca, so it's really great that these other cities get these amazing kind of transportation centers, but we get this kind of, and no disrespect, but we get the less, like a less version of that, and I know that even further, that's the case of, I echo a lot of sentiment about Marlene saying there's so much work to do, in terms of
Absolutely.
bridging it together, but I think like, if we really get creative, there's a way that we can not just bridge the transportation issue, but also alleviate some of the need for electricity, right, and that kind of sustainability, especially as we go further and or further towards the north end, folks don't have access to anything or whatever it is. So.
Sure.
But what I wanted to really leave with is thank you again for
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
Because, with this, we're able to see direction, and where we should be going next. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that kind of fall under our purview, right? So the vehicles, zero emission technology, as you are likely all aware, the state has a goal of turning all new vehicles into zero emission technology vehicles. So we're currently working on that for our bus fleet as well, whether that be electric vehicles or hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. We're exploring those options. Of course, that takes facilities as well. You got to be able to charge these vehicles. So you have to upgrade grids. You have to create charging stations. So we're exploring all of those options as well. We're looking at trying to acquire some grants to build some facilities, charging station facilities, public and our facility as well. So there's a litany of different types of things that we're currently exploring to try to hopefully improve not only our system, but the entire transportation network here in the Imperial County as well. Martha?
Just kind of real quick,
Yes.
just for clarity, because I know as a city, we always take a look at access points, right?
Yes.
And facilitating the process for individuals to access our services. So again, for utilizing public transportation, they can pre-buy the passes that
Yes.
we were talking about. They can also pay cash, and then they're working on
Yes. Yeah. Great example. Area Agency on Aging provides vouchers to some of their passengers. IVC also does that to some of its students, so they use a lot of the vouchers to use those services. So there's multiple ways to utilize the service, but again, cash is the biggest primary source. We get a lot of folks that are coming over from Mexico that use public transit services. So cash is always going to remain an aspect of whatever we do, whether we get mobile phone payments or app payments or anything like that. Cash is always going to remain as part of our system.
What metrics do you study in terms of routes? How often are you studying them?
That's a great question. So we look at passenger ridership all the time. So we look at, we don't have, I can't tell you data like in terms of X amount of people got off at the stop here in front of the community center, but we track routes. We track how many people are utilizing routes. We also ride the system itself, and we look at that. We're looking at integrating technology that'll provide us with that information. Another project that we're actually undertaking now, we're working on the procurement process for that, is an analysis of our system. We're going to deep dive analyze our system, deep dive analyze the communities, the Imperial County as a whole. What are we perhaps not servicing that we should be? What are we currently servicing that perhaps we shouldn't be anymore? You know, the cities change, things change over time. So we're going to do a deep dive analysis of that, in addition to constantly reviewing our numbers in terms of what we're seeing in terms of all of our routes, the usage of all of our routes, in addition to riding the vehicles ourselves. So we too ride buses, so we get to see where folks get off, folks get on. The micro transit service is a little bit different because it has an app, so that tells us exactly where folks are going all the time. Of course.
What are your fare
For which one?
for your fixed routes?
For fixed route, it is probably about, I want to say it's probably about 12-13%. Last time I checked.
Okay, the next question would be, is this what is required,
Some of the services do, some of them don't. And so the services that don't, we're looking at opportunities to possibly change some of what we're doing to try to help them meet that. We look at additional marketing efforts to try to get the public to utilize the services, or you know, there's overhaul changes to some of the services to be able to, you know, capitalize on different types of riders.
the marketing efforts that you are using or may use,
Mhm.
is it based on what, I don't say system thinks is necessary, or are you really out there tracking or getting, accessing transit behavior where people really want to go? Or is this just based on where we think we should go?
No, that's it's so we're looking at where people want to go. That's ultimately our goal. Where are people trying to go? Can we get them there? Can we adjust our services to be able to get them there? One of the more recent examples being when the city of El Centro built its Lotus Living facility off of where Lowe's is. So we adjusted one of our routes to be able to service that community to try to get them to IVC. That is a IVC-based community, right? So we adjusted one of our routes, actually two of our routes, to be able to allow those folks to be able to get to IVC and get to other services as well. So we adjust as needed if we can to try to integrate things into our routes to try to make sure that we service the community. It's an ongoing process. It's a living process that we essentially kind of go through all the time. Raffle time? Yep.
Thank you so much, David.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it.
I just want to thank all of you for coming out and asking questions. This is how we all learn. And I'm really appreciate everybody coming out, and that's the next ticket. Thank you. And we're going to have our raffle. We have 2 more raffles. And what we're going to do after the raffles, there's different areas that we'll set up where you'll go and you can ask questions, and we'll have people there to ask questions if you have needs, and then we'll write them down so that way we'll know, and then we'll go back and make sure that things are looked at and taken care of, and that's what we're here for, to get your voice and get what you need and what you want. And we appreciate you. Thank you. So I'm going to start with, and then, did you open yours to see what it is? I know they're $25 gift cards that were donated. So I don't know if he opened his yet, but this one is 4952388. All right, Mr. Summers. Oh, sorry. Okay, and the next one, let's see who the lucky person is. 4952387. All right, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes. As you're going around, there's dinner available. People did donate the gift cards. They donated the food, and we're very thankful for this. You do have dinner back there, so that way you can get food. We have questions as well, as you can ask anybody questions around here. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Madam Mayor, do you have something else you need to say? Drinks are also in the back in the ice chest if you would like something to drink as well. Yes, we have the papers up here. There's markers on the tables. Any questions that you may have that you just want to leave for us, please feel free to write it, so that way we will know your input and we can follow up on what you want and what you need. Thank you.
Wonderful. Just as a reminder, this is not I'm not closing this activity. Just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you so much for coming to this event, being a partner here. I think it's important when we talk about the development for our city, and if there's gaps in the delivery of our services or in areas of improvement, this is the opportunity to have those discussions. So I wanted to take this opportunity, David, to thank you very much. Both myself and Mayor Raul Ureña are ICTC commissioners, so we are also the voice and when it comes to making sure that those services are being delivered. And with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to our city manager.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I appreciate the introduction and allowing me to close the event. So just, what I do want to share is that in some areas, some cities, the city itself is the one that's responsible for transportation. However, in Imperial County, we enjoy a great partnership with ICTC, which allows us to, offer services to those who don't have access to their own transportation, which is extremely important. Without access to transportation, certainly, communities do not grow and they don't flourish. So I wanted to take, obviously also thank David for being here today, and everybody else that supports from ICTC and IV Transit. But also just want to recognize some of our staff here tonight, from our DJ, in-house DJ, Gus. We also have our PIO, who's been busy taking photos and videos, which we'll be sharing. Mario, Cindy from the city manager's office, Gabriel, he's hiding behind the easel back there. And I hope that I'm not missing anybody else obviously, we have our honorable council members here today with us, as well as the staff from Spectrum. We have, two of the greatest photographers and camera people that helps us, carry the message after we shut down here. So anyways, thank you all for being here. Enjoy some pizza. And, hopefully we can work on these matters. Like I mentioned earlier,
as far as the safety and security off the bus, that belongs to the city of El Centro. So we take responsibility for that piece. And on the bus, it's obviously a little bit different. However, they do have, I do want to say, he mentions there's cameras and they mentioned there's Wi-Fi. And I will tell you that maybe somebody will find this odd, but I do jump on the bus every few years. And, I've had the pleasure of actually riding the bus from El Centro to Calexico, just to see what it's like, right, to ride the bus in case I ever need to use the bus. Because you could get lost if you don't know how to navigate the bus system. However, I can tell you that my experience in the bus system was very pleasant. It was during the summer. The air conditioning was working, which is kind of key. If the Wi-Fi didn't work, it didn't matter, but it did work. And the staff, the driver was very pleasant as well, although he's encased in this plexiglass box for safety. Right. However, anyways, thank you. Without further ado, I don't know if there's.
I think that's it. We'll go ahead and have time to enjoy some pizza and discussion. There's notes, correct? There's notepads at the table as well to collect information. And then I know that staff is available to answer specific questions and routes and how to navigate.
We will be. We do have some QR codes that you can scan with your cell phone if you have access to that type of technology, where you can actually fill out a post-attendee survey for us so that we can, improve on these types of meetings. If you do not have access, we also have paper copies of the survey, both in English and Spanish, if you wish to fill one out in pen and paper.
Sorry, but also they have lots of books. If you want to take a book for somebody in your community, in your neighborhood, your people you're related to, get a book so that way you can inform people. If they have questions, they can reach out to David or they can reach out to the city. Thank you very much.